Hi, it's Alaska Granny. 2023 is coming to a close. We can look forward to 2024. I have a prepper to-do list of some supplies and activities, chores that you might want to do so that you have your life running smoothly. The reason to be a prepper is lifestyle insurance. We're making our life run as smoothly as possible so that we can have every day go as smoothly and as normal as we would want. An item that I like to use in the winter time, I bought one for myself, I bought them for my children, is one of the sad lights. So that we're not getting enough sunshine in the winter time, especially if you live in the far north. There's very few hours of sunlight and the sun is very low in the sky. So providing a little extra light and sunshine can really be great. I picked this one up on Amazon. I've had it for a few years. It works great and it has a switch on the side. It has a timer, it has an on-off switch, and it also has an ion. So it gives you a little bit of fresh air. And you can just, when you're using your computer or you're watching TV, you can turn it on and sit in front of it and, oh yeah, it brings you more happiness. So it shouldn't be a sad light, but it is because it's helping you to feel better. You're getting some extra sunshine. Yeah, it's nice. So if you struggle with season affectional disorder or whatever it actually stands for, check out one of the sad lights. Bring a little extra sunshine and a little bit of ionic, fresher air into your life. We also know that cold and flu season is coming, so make sure you have your over-the-counter medications that you rely on, because if you look back into last year, it was very difficult to get some of those remedies, some of those over-the-counter medications. If you have small children, likely you have a thermometer. But as we get older and our kids grow up and go away, a lot of times we don't have a working thermometer anymore. So it might be something that you want to add to your prepper to-do list to make sure you have a working thermometer. It doesn't have to be digital. You can get one of the old school glass thermometers, but make sure that you have one. So if you feel sick, you can take your temperature and you can gauge your health and the progress that you're making, and if you do need to take medication, or if perhaps you need to seek medical care. People continue to be concerned with the threat of nuclear accidents, even nuclear war. So maybe you want to get some IOSAT tablets, or if you have them, they don't last forever. Check the date on them and see if you need some new ones. IOSAT tablets are potassium iodide, and it's a thyroid blocking filler, so that if you are exposed to some nuclear fallout, it collects in your thyroid gland. And so if you take the IOSAT when you have been exposed, then it fills your thyroid, so then it can't absorb the radiation. I'm probably not explaining it exactly correctly, but if you are ever have been exposed is the only time that you would use this. You would take one tablet a day for 14 days, and you never take it just in case. You take it if you've been exposed and not in case there might be a threat. It's only once you've been exposed. So if you're concerned with a radiation emergency, look for potassium iodide. The ones that I have stockpiled have been the IOSAT, because from what I have read about it, these are the most effective and they just seem to be the most reliable. So it's a product that I continue to rotate in my prepping supplies to make sure that I have them and they're fresh. Another supplement that people have used after they've been exposed to radiation is apple pectin. When they had the Chernobyl accident in Russia many years ago, then they were giving the pectin to the little children. And pectin is actually like apple skins, and it's what things that make things gel. And so what it does is they found over time that they gave the kids the pectin, it absorbed the radiation in the body, and then it was excreted in the feces and urine. But you want to read carefully on the label to see what would be the dose. And once again, this isn't something that you need to use on a daily basis. It's only if you've been exposed. Study over these types of ingredients before you use them, and perhaps speak with your medical healthcare professional in case you have further questions. Because I'm not a doctor, I'm just a prepper. And so these are items that I have, and you may want to have them too, but you need to make your own informed decisions. You can see on the pectin label it says intestinal support, so it increases the fiber in your intestines, and then you would need to make sure you're drinking plenty of water so that your digestive system can function properly. On my property, in Alaska, I have the most beautiful, huge Sitka Roses. And they are huge, but they have the most evil thorns possible. Doesn't even matter what gloves I seem to wear. Some of these thorns get into my fingers when I'm trimming them. They get straight into your fingers. Some of them can just be so tiny and you just can't seem to pick them out. It's not as easy as picking out a splinter. These thorns are just evil. A remedy that I like to have on hand is Ichthamol, because you can put it onto any kind of a splinter and it actually like pulls it out of your skin. You can see it comes in a little tube and it's black. So it's not like anything else that I've ever used before. Wherever you might have a splinter, you would put this on, cover it with a bandage, and it can pull out your splinter. So if you read on the label, Ichthamol ointment can be used to treat insect bites, stings. It can remove splinters and slivers. You can treat plant irritations and minor skin infections. It's soothing skin relief, and I find that it has been very handy, especially for the Sitka rose thorns. I suppose if you lived in the desert and you had cactuses, this would be great to draw some of those out, because if you've ever stumbled into a cactus, oh my goodness, that's just terrible too. Next, let's think about our pets. Make sure you have extra pet food, treats, snacks, whatever you rely on that you feed your animals. They count on us to take care of their needs. They give us love. We give them food, water, love, and care. So make sure that you have extra cat food, dog food, treats, kitty litter, any supplies that you need to help take care of your pets. Then as preppers, we also want to be stockpiling the life-sustaining foods, the longest-lasting foods. They're easy to pick up in a small bag, in a big bag. You can put them into a jar, stuff them into a bucket, seal them in a Mylar bag, and you want to get foods like beans and rice, lentils, pasta. These foods are life-sustaining. They can last for many, many years, but you need to store them in an airtight container. It can be as simple as a pasta sauce jar that you've cleaned yourself, let it dry well, and then you can store your food in there. But make sure that you're stocking up on the longest lasting foods. I don't think we're ever going to run out completely of food, but if we can't get as much as we want, or we can't afford it, we don't have as much variety, we can prepare some of these basic foods and then help that extend the other food that we have in our pantry. We can grow in our garden. We can forage for other foods. That gives us the opportunity to make bigger, better meals, stretch the foods we have with these filler type foods that can last for many, many years. Then if you can't just store beans and rice and pasta and oatmeal, things like that, you should also be using some of them so that you understand how to prepare them, how to use them. So occasionally make meals using especially your dried beans, because that can be a learning curve to see how much water it takes to make those foods and how long it takes. Then you need preparation time. Maybe you need your crock pot. You need to put them on the stove for hours at a time. They need a long time to cook. So be aware of that and make sure that you're also stockpiling water so that you'll be able to cook these long-term dried foods. Next, we want to make a meal plan. You can plan your meals for, say, a week. Then when you go to the store, buy doubles of those foods so that you have a 2-week supply. Then you can use 1 whole week's worth of food and store the other one in your prepper pantry. Then the next time you go to the store, do it again. Plan for 1 week and buy enough food for 2 weeks. And if that seems like it's too much money, you can't afford it, at least when you pick up 1 item for this week, buy 1 extra one so you can put it away. That if you do that every time you go to the store, after a year of going to the store, you'll have a huge supply of extra food that you can make meals for your family. I always figure every extra can of food that I have is another meal I can have in the future. You also want to make sure that you're making a variety of those foods. Don't just add a can of chili every week or a bag of dried beans every week, because then if really times become hard, you don't have any variety, and then what are you going to do? You want to have a variety of foods. Get something like chili 1 week, cereal the next week, pasta sauce, a can of soup. Make sure that you have a variety of all of the foods that you would want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner so that you have easy to prepare meals that you can make for your family. It doesn't have to be complicated to add to food storage. You just need a few little strategies. And make sure that you're only buying foods that you enjoy eating. Don't buy foods simply because they're cheap if you don't like them. You don't want to go to your pantry one day and the only thing you have left to eat is something that you don't like. Why wouldn't you put in foods that you do like? That's what I try to do. I know I have foods that aren't my favorites because they're favorites of other people in my family, and I try to make sure that I have varieties of foods that everyone would enjoy. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I have food that I want to eat too. Keep your car gas tank full. Don't let it go below a half. Have some cash on hand, get some small bills. So then if something happens that the power stops running and you need to get something at the gas station or the grocery store, if the computers aren't working, they can still take cash a lot of times, and you don't want to give them a 20. If something costs $2, they're not going to have change, but if you can peel off some ones, fives, tens, have that extra cash on hand. It can be really critical to have in an emergency situation. Prepare now while we have time. We know that things are becoming more dangerous, more hardships on all of us, but we have that warning that we know we need to prepare. So make it a plan to have the things that you need, that you can stay in your home if you need to, but also have a bug out bag so if you need to evacuate from a hurricane, a tornado, a forest fire, or a power outage with an ice storm when your power might be out for 2 weeks. You have then an emergency bag you can grab and go and have several days worth of supplies in your emergency bag. We have the warning to prepare, we have the knowledge how to prepare, so let's put that into action and make sure that we're ready to face things that are going to come to us no matter where we live or who we are. We're going to have challenges ahead. Let us know in the comments below what are some other items you think we might want to stockpile so that we can end 2023 with the things we need and go forward into 2024 ready to face another year. The better we prepare, the more enjoyable our life will be every single day. I hope you'll like my video, share my video, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.